Hey, it's Robert Mason from the band Warrant in the C2 cockpit, and you are watching the Crash Course Metal Show.
Welcome into the Crash Course Metal Show. Today we're going to be talking about a pretty much one and done band, if you will, and that is going to be Johnny Crash's debut album and only album, Neighborhood Threat.
Hell
Now,
yeah.
originally came out in 1990 on Epic Records. Now, this is a reissue here from 2024 on Music on CD. So, but yes, I have never been able to find a copy of this album. I have been familiar with Johnny Crash ever since I was a teen, mid-teen, young teen, I would say, certainly in high school. I knew of the song Hey Kid. I came across it one day after school on YouTube, Hey Kid, and seen that music video. I remember the opening guitar riff. It always reminded me of Fire and Ice from Cinderella on Lone Cold Winter. And ever since then, I was pretty much hooked. But I just never was able to come across the album physically, and even like online, you always saw like the unfinished business, which was kind of released later in like 2007, which is kind of like I think demos and just like songs that just didn't make the album, and there are songs that are on the album. It's like a compilation type deal. But yeah, as far as like an actual studio album of the original era, this is all we got here was Neighborhood Threat from Johnny Crash. Now, as you guys can see here from the back of these boys, like they are your dirty, bluesy, sleazy elements as well. We are going in here to the 1990 side of things, that little time span of when blues was starting to become popular in the hair metal scene and the sleaze was starting to take off really, and just the maturity and just dirtiness of hair metal was starting to show full fledged, basically, and starting to see bands like this, like Johnny Crash, come out. The best way I can kind of describe Johnny Crash is like a Rhino Bucket or even like a Rock City Angels, as you can see behind me there, which actually the drummer for Johnny Crash, Adamo, I believe, he was in uh, Rock City Angels for a short period of time, and then he went and obviously did this album. So certainly, I would say definitely has that kind of feel. Even like a Jackal. Jackal even comes to my mind on a couple of these songs. And obviously AC/DC has that feel. Some of these songs have a little bit of like a Brian Johnson, like a real early Brian Johnson AC/DC era feel to them, but not necessarily vocal wise or vocal sonically sounding, but just the mid pace. And we'll get to some of those songs as well on here, which really kind of remind me of that. So as far as the band members, we do have Vick Wright on vocals. We have August Worchell on lead guitar. We have Christopher Stewart on rhythm guitar. We have Andy Rogers on bass. And then we have Adamo on drums. Now, which is kind of interesting as well. Adamo, the drummer, does end up leaving after this album. And then they ended up bringing in Matt Sorum. Yes, that Matt Sorum from Guns N' Roses eventually on the Use Your Illusions. And which is interesting though, nonetheless, because they were going to be doing a 1992 album, but obviously got shelved or it just got cut, that kind of deal. The kind of the all too normal of a story of this time frame and of this subgenre. It's just interesting how that happens. But they did have a little bit of a following. Like I said, the music video for Hey Kid was a minor hit. Did get some rotation on MTV. They did open up for like Motley Crue and such. On a little bit of that tour before Motley Crue ended up, splitting with Vince Neil. But so let's go to the track listings here. Let's go to the actual album. There is 11 tracks on here. The first track is Hey Kid, and like I said plenty of times, really really good song. Reminds me of Fire and Ice a little bit, especially the intro. And just really good. Just kind of sets the tone for the rest of the album, if you will. Now, track number two, No Bones About It. Here we go, another like fast bluesy song, just in your face. Just great bar music as well, like a little bit on the biker side of things as well. Track number three, All the Way in Love. Same type deal, really. But like these songs are somewhat simple, but they are very memorable. I can listen to like this whole album the whole way through and not complain at all. Just it's just kind of weird, just nothing. Like, Hey Kid, like I said, what is probably like the best like single song to use as a single. But man, like all this stuff is pretty strong. So we're moving here to the fourth track, Thrill of the Kill. This is something that sounds like early era Brian Johnson AC/DC, like their slower to mid tempo stuff, like say on like Flick of the Switch or, even like for those about the rock, like that type of era, the slow down, mid tempo pace type heavy stuff. Really good. Thrill of the Kill is awesome. Now that we go here to Axe to the Wax, which is kind of like a tongue in cheek type song, and a lot of people enjoy this one. Like this one's fine. I don't. I think it will stay on the iPod, but it's not like my favorite song. But it's good though. No, when it comes on, it's like, all right, this fits right here. It's fine. Now the sixth track here, Sink or Swim. Right from the start, it gives you another one of those like early AC/DCs, maybe like a Bon Scott era type AC/DC, uh, faster pace song. Really good stuff. And that just like I said, you really hear the AC/DC influence, the Dirty Looks, Rhino Bucket type. It's very similar to that. Even like new age, like Airborne and shit like that. If you like that, because like a buddy of mine, he absolutely loves AC/DC, and I was gonna send him this album and be like, here, just listen to this today, will you? Just tell me what you think. Just see what he says, because it's actually interesting because he kind of does like Dirty Looks, but he wasn't the biggest fan of Rhino Bucket, which is actually kind of strange. But this is kind of like, oh yeah, here, I'll just give this to you here and sit with it for a day or two and tell me what you think. That type of deal. All right, so moving here, Crack of Dawn, a cool song, a little bit faster than mid tempo, if you will. But man, it's like it. I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself, but some of these songs don't necessarily sound the same. But we're having fun here. We're being dirty. It's not like a straight up sleaze fest, but it's fun. Kind of just playing with that blues metal, just kind of blues hair metal, if you will. Just good stuff. Now, next track here, number 8, Freedom Road. One of my favorites on here. It just has an awesome chorus, kind of a heartfelt types. I don't want to say heartfelt as in like a ballad or anything, but just like love the chorus. Love the chorus to the song. Just catchy as all hell. And I love just, because it puts you in that mind frame of Freedom Road. Like, what is your Freedom Road? And it just kind of puts me in that space every time I hear this song. Now, the next track here, Halfway to Heaven. It kind of reminds me of something off like AC/DC's uh Heat Seeker or Blow Up Your Video, like from that album. It reminds me of like what AC/DC was trying to do then. But this is like really good though. Like probably better than most of like AC/DC stuff on that album. Now I do like Blow Up Your Video. I think that's kind of underrated of an album. I don't hate it nearly as much as everyone else, but it kind of Halfway to Heaven kind of gives me that feel a little bit. Now the 10 track here, Trigger Happy. This is the song that kind of gives me like a little bit of a Jackal vibe. Like you know how Jackal kind of does like some kind of like drumming, like somewhat solo drumming, and then some guitar comes in the background a little bit. Kind of like what they do on She Loves My Cock. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that kind of beat or like that kind of delivery of this song. But it's a fun one nonetheless. Anything Jackal sounds good, and so does this song. So I kind of like, and this actually came out. The album came out before Jackal, so you can kind of say maybe She Loves My Cock might have came after. Kind of took tips from this song, but it just kind of gives me that vibe, especially like from the beginning when they're just like kind of doing the drum beat with, and then the guitar comes in here in a little bit. Good stuff. And now we have a very bluesy song. And that's the thing, like the last track, Baby's Like a Piano. Like right from the start, Vicky goes like, yeah, we're just some white boys playing the blues. It sounds like he's imitating Howlin' Wolf. Like his voice sounds almost just like it when he says that. And I'm like, oh shit, do I got Johnny Crash on or I got Howlin' Wolf on here, this mother? But very good. Like as you guys know, I'm a big fan of blues music and then blues metal as well and love it in my hair metal, the blues in my hair metal. So I'm right here with it. This is kind of like a funny song as well. My baby's like a piano. When she's upright, she's grand. You know, like that kind of tongue in cheek kind of stuff. So I like it. And there's like a couple songs on here that are like strict blues songs. Like that, if you don't like blues, you're probably not gonna like these couple songs. But man, like Thrill to Kill, like I said, even like Freedom Road has that like kind of bluesiness to it, and then Baby's Like a Piano. And like, take your pick around here on this album. Like, there's blues dripping with blues. Some more than others, but certainly has that feel. Just absolutely dig this album. And like I said, I've been trying to look for this for hmm over over 18 years probably. Well over 18 years. And it's just an album I never was able to see. Obviously they didn't sell many copies. Um but man, every time I kind of seen it like as a reissue, I never was able to get it. Even like Unfinished Business. I remember kind of when that came out or like soon after that came out, and I was just never able to grab that either. They either wanted like outlandish kind of money. Now, as a young teenager, um like $25 was kind of like a lot when you didn't work or didn't have no money or whatever. Especially when you could buy other hair metal albums for like $5 a piece used. And I was like, well, you know what? I kind of want Neighborhood Threat and this Unfinished Business. Yeah, like I was kind of like, maybe I'll just try to wait. And, you know, and it was a long wait. It was over 15, 16, 17 years. And I'm just actually happy I have it here right now. And you know, some of the songs on here, I will say that I dig a lot is Hey Kid. It has a music video, so just go check that out first and foremost. But as far like I said, I love the bluesy stuff that they do on here. Thrill the Kill is awesome. Freedom Road, I really enjoy that one. There's really no ballad, I would say, unless maybe you want to call like like Freedom Road a little bit. It doesn't really sound like a ballad, but that's probably I would say the closest thing, maybe. But yeah, that which is a plus. I mean, if you're not a fan of ballads, check this album out as well, because you're not going to be getting no sappy ballads or anything like that. Just strict in your face type stuff. So those are the three tracks. Let's do Hey Kid, Freedom Road, and also Thrill of the Kill. So as far as the album rating goes, I'm giving this a 3.5. You know, like I said, I uh, got this now probably just under 2 weeks now. So I'm still spinning it. I spun it 10 times at least, but I finally was able to listen to the whole thing. And because I only ever really heard one or two songs. Well, Ditch the Bitch isn't even on this album. I think that's on Unfinished Business. And Hey Kid were like the only two songs I knew from Johnny Crash ever since I was a young teenager. And so now I finally get to hear the whole thing, how it should be, these songs, how it should be. And giving it a 3.5. I'm quite happy with this to have it finally in the collection. And like I said, if you're a fan of the blues type stuff or type metal, this is it. This is where you want to be. This is certainly one that needs to be a part of your collection then. And I'm sure you can still get a couple copies. Like I got this off Amazon. I seen the reissue here on Amazon, and they had probably like 8 copies left when I bought this, and now obviously that's 2 weeks ago. So hopefully, if you want this, go check it out now because it might not be there and might not be able to make too much more. Not 100% sure. So guys, let me know what you think of Johnny Crash's Neighborhood Threat and just what you think of Johnny Crash in general. And let me know what you think of Unfinished Business as well.
Talk to me.
Anyway, guys, stay out of that collateral damage. And if you guys enjoyed this album review, check out the whole series right here.
Yeah, I wrote that. It's called I Want to Rock Your Body. And then in parentheses it says to the break of dawn.